Welcome to Keeping It Real, where we talk business, money, and mindset.
Welcome everybody back to the Keeping It Real podcast, and today, as usual, I got a very special guest.
Someone who keeps it very real.
Very, very real. And the best part is that this is actually in person. He's sitting right beside me. You know, we're recording this in my crib. Jvnior, I got my boy right here. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself, bro?
What's good?
While I turn off the fan in my room because we're recording this in my room.
Yeah, this is crazy. So pretty much I was a big believer in coronavirus, but I'm not. So that's one nice fact about me. My name is Jvnior. I'm in the industry. When I say the industry, music industry, entertainment industry, e-com industry, I'm in all of them.
Right.
I'm more of like an entrepreneur, freelancer that made it, through building out ventures. I'm not in school right now, but I kind of had my run with it. It wasn't as successful as I thought. So we're here now, pretty much doing the same thing. Marketing the new wave. So let's talk marketing. Let's talk music.
I want to talk music because I know. Would you say that's your main thing? Out of all the things you do, was that a passionate project? Is that your main business? Or because I know you're so involved in so many different things and you have so many different sources of income. If you were to say what's your main thing or what's the one that you would just work on no matter what, would it be the music industry one?
So definitely music, because like for me, I started out as an artist, right? Like the whole business model of my company, like one of my biggest companies, which is Playlists, is helping other artists and finding them the kind of marketing solutions that they need, right? Obviously, in the music industry, there's a lot of things that you can do. Like you'll meet people and they'll say they're in the industry and you won't even find out like what they do. And it's like, oh, you're an A&R, you just helped create a connection. Oh, you composed the record or composed an instrument on the record. You're the one who books the studios for an artist. You're the one who manages the tour. So there's a lot of different things that you can do within the industry. But for me, as an artist, when I saw marketing, there was so many things that was lacking. So many things. Like the industry was lacking in terms of the majority of the service that was available were scams, bro.
Right.
Like 90% of the marketing services that were available to artists were scams. And that's what blew my mind. That's what made me transition from, being an artist solely focused on, I got to create art for the people, to I got to save the artists from falling into traps, just like I did. Had my music deleted because somebody got fake streams to my record, or somebody who claimed that they could bring me playlists or, traction to my profile just ended up getting me fake traction. So that's kind of where I stemmed, from growing into a marketer, from an artist, from a student. I started out as a regular Arab boy, 17 years old in uni, like just as majority of kids nowadays, bro. They go to uni, they don't know what that, like, I don't know if we're allowed to swear, but
nah, man, keeping it real.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing, so that's kind of where I was for 17 until 19. And then when I decided to really boss the fuck up and kind of, take things into my own hand, build my own systems, learn how to navigate the internet, build a website, how to use Photoshop, how to edit videos, how to create things that are, aesthetically pleasing to people. That is a skill, bro. And that's what I worked on from 17 to 19. And then after 19, bro, everything was on from there,
Right.
So, yeah, pretty much my involvement with the music industry is like, it's not too serious right now. I've pretty much worked with every label in the industry. I've worked with a lot of fucking artists that you probably listen to on the radio, but I don't feel like I've even reached 10% of what my potential is.
Right.
And that's just, it'll come with time, It'll come with time, the better, because obviously our systems are there, but we improve them every single day. We're like, improving certain aspects of how we're bringing artists up. Like I'm building a collective now, I'm building a label instead of just having a company. So just for me, like my personal goals, they're being built out over time. Everything, nothing's gonna happen overnight, especially with this corona bullshit. Like a lot of stuff has been delayed, so we're very far from where we want to be. But we're on the right path. I'm sure.
I want to touch on a couple of things you talked about there. One was, I think you seeing first understanding when you were in the music business, identifying a big problem and kind of starting a business to fulfill that problem, right? That's like what a business is at the end of the day, something that solves a problem. So,
what a legit business.
Yeah, what a legit business. So that's what I wanted to let people know is like whenever you're thinking about businesses, man, at the end of the day, you gotta look back at it, what problems are you solving, right? And once you start thinking, I feel like once you start thinking in that way, then it's like less. Then I honestly tell people, man, focus on your business, focus on what you do good. Like you guys have an amazing service, right? That's why the money comes. The money comes because, bro, you were focused on creating the best service. That's why the money came, not because you focused on the money. Right, that's why
the money just grew, bro. When we first started, our monthly sales was like, I don't even consider it monthly sales. It's like artists giving us their budgets, and like for the first month, like collectively, all the budgets that we got was like $1,000, and then the next month was $2,000, and then the next month was $4,000. Why were we growing? Right? A lot of people will complain and say, "Yo, maybe this isn't the best thing for me," but the majority of the people that we've worked with, we were able to deliver results because it was never about the money. I would use 100% of that money that they gave me to generate revenue for them. And the way I made profit is through doing it for a lot of people.
Right.
I get over 150 artists a day now. A day, bro. A day wanting to promote their music. Whether it's on Sunday, one of the lowest days of music being released. Whether it's Friday, the most popular day to release music. People are buying promotion every single day. They need to keep growing their numbers, bro. That's what labels need, right? Once you get to a certain point, you need to keep pushing even harder. But with bad promotion, with promotion that doesn't allow you to grow, with promotion that doesn't fit your music, it gets hard to do that consistently.
Right.
Our service offers that, bro, because your returns, your song gets placed into areas that it belongs to, and you're actually making money back from that. It's not an e-com product. It's not something that, a lot of people can easily replicate. Obviously, there's services out there that can sell you streams, that can sell you followers, that can sell you any of that. That exists. It exists, and a lot of artists know about it. A lot of artists are scared to even touch it because they know it will ruin their reputation with the label, right? It will ruin their reputation in the game, in the streets, bro. You can't do that, right? Unless you're like, you don't know anybody and that's your only way of kind of coming up, then you sort of have an excuse, but there's really no excuse to be doing that.
I really don't think there's at the end of the day, even if you are just starting out, when you're seeing numbers, you didn't earn it. You know what I mean? Like, even when I started YouTube, bro, when I got my first 100 views, I'm like, yo, you know what?
That
this
shit
is something.
Means more. Exactly.
It means more because it's real versus, let's say I bought 3,000 fake YouTube views, right? Huge difference.
And when you keep it real, the reason I was very successful is because I was able to keep it consistent. People, a lot of people depended on the communication, right? The communication of your business is what really brings that prestige and that increases the lifetime value of your customer. The communication. How do you communicate? Do you fucking complain when people give you money, or do you show them that you appreciate their time in business? Especially because you're at such an early point in your business that when you're not doing it for profit, even if you're generating seven figures.
The sad part is a lot of people don't think like that, because I feel like since we're all especially young entrepreneurs, what I've noticed is you said early on you were willing to sacrifice profits because you saw the longer term vision.
Bro. It's great, and I keep applying that. No matter how big I get, I'm like, you know what? I'll give shit for free. I'm doing 100K in profits. I'll give 20K away I'll increase my cost by 20K to bring back all of the people that paid me this month. You know what I mean? That's kind of the vision, because at the end of the day, there is so much more. We can't get caught up in what's going on right now, what we have right now. Some people will see a bag come in, and they're like, I gotta take this and run. I gotta get out. They get scared, and that's like fight or flight shit, right? You either stay there and you're like, you know what, this is a very crazy situation, but I'm gonna fight it. I'm gonna fight my urges to kind of want to take out my profits, go and spend it. I could buy a McLaren right now, but I'm not going and doing that. Why? Because I know that that's not my focus right now. My focus is to build a 9-figure, 10-figure company. My goal is to have that kind of stuff resonate with artists. So the impact is more of like on the music industry, you know, wanting to help people.
Right.
But again, like you said, not a lot of people think like that. And it's also because some people don't really feel connected to the business. A lot of the times people just do businesses because it's a winning idea. It's a winning product.
Right.
It's an easy money kind of fix. And I think, you know, it's the exact same mentality as like gambling or dealing drugs. Man. Exact same thing.
I completely agree with you, bro. I think, and I think that's how a lot of people are operating in business right now, or how a lot of people think that they're actually entrepreneurs or businessmen. But in reality, they're just, like you said, they just have a side hustle that won't exist in 2 to 3 months and won't make them any money. And I think, you know, the point that you keep on touching on, which is so important, I really want everybody listening to really, you know, realize this, is focus on the long term. You know, like you just said, it's not about the numbers, it's about the bigger vision you have.
Like, really try to make everything that you work on help you in the future. Like,
right.
I don't care if it's your fucking high school notes. I keep my high school notes. Like, I still have shit from school that I could have burned, I could have threw out. Obviously, I've had my times of recklessness, but when you're really looking at a complete scope of life, you have to be, you know, looking at it as levels. You're upgrading yourself from level to level. You're not gonna go 100 and then you're just gonna drop to 0 again and then go to 100. That's what gambling is. That's what, you know, those addictive mentalities. It's what gets you from 0. Like, you're sober and you get hot. You go to 100 and then you're sober again. So you feel like, why am I sober? I don't want to be sober. I'm at 100 again. And then you drop back down to 0 because it's always temporary, right?
Right.
People need to understand that life isn't about jumping from 0 to 100 and then going back to 0 and then trying to get back to 100 again. It's about going from 0 to 100 over the span of your life.
Right.
Some people make it to 30% and they pass away. That's unfortunate, but there's another complete different reason. Like, you're hustling, you're not worried about, I'm gonna die tomorrow. I need to make the biggest bag today because I don't know if I'm gonna live long enough. That's not the mentality of a successful businessman. Right. The successful businessman says, I have a plan for the next 30 years to make as big as impact as possible in whatever you want to do. Whether it's building the sickest garden out there in the world and
right.
like having, you know, providing food to people, it doesn't matter. There has to be a long-term plan. There has to be every day, there has to be repetition, you know, like same thing. That's how you grow. A lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to do it for 1 week and then my life is going to change. And then maybe 2 years from now, I got to work for another week and then I'll generate another bag. And then like I'll work for another 2 weeks, you know, 3 years after that. It's not, life doesn't work like that. A lot of
right.
the young people that come up and they make this fast money, right? A lot of my friends too, I've had this conversation, and the reason I'm able to give this advice is because I was able to get it from other people, for myself. So this isn't like me being mad at people for thinking some kind of way. It's
right.
really enlightening, you know, being, I saw the other side. This is what needs to be done. You guys need to think long term. If you have a company right now, don't think, I'm just going to throw this company away after 1 year. I'm just going to try and generate. No. Try to keep that within your portfolio. You never know. You could have your own holdings company with 20 different e-com brands. Who knows? You know what I mean? You have to keep everything that you build. That's how you maximize your time in this world. Right. You can't be wasting. If you're doing shit that you can't save, then you're doing the wrong thing. If you're doing shit that you can't keep and showcase later on or hold valuable to yourself, especially in terms of putting in work, like when you're working, if your work can't be just transferred over, you know, a year later and you can look through it, and then you're doing something wrong. You really have to evaluate yourself, see what your business structure is, whether it's your skill whether it's your art. Even if you're making art, you have to organize it in a way that you can go back 4 years ago and be like, you know what, I rate this art because I actually put in time and effort, and this is something that I knew it made sense at the time. Mm-hmm. Obviously, things are going to improve, things are going to change. That doesn't make what you did before worthless, because someone else could look at that and be like, I could never recreate that.
Right.
Even though it's something that you did 4 years ago. Same thing with business, with any venture that you create, with any product that you bring out. You have to be focusing on things that will last. That's how you build wealth. That's how you become wealthy at the end of the day. And that's kind of what me transitioning from just making art for free to I need to help as many people as possible. And when you start helping people, when you start giving back, when you start realizing that you need to manage your money really, really fucking well to be able to pay on behalf of other people, pay their expenses, pay their bills. You have to be managing your money so well that even managing your money is making you money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like using your points right, using the right credit cards to pay for the right, that shit pays out in the long term, right? It's the same mentality that applies to everything, bro. If you take this and you apply it to your just general life, you know, how you look at business, how you look at, I'm building these different things that are gonna last. If you apply that mentality to everything in life, eating, working out, bro, you'll be acing everything that just requires a routine easily without even thinking about a routine. All you're doing is just repetition and getting better every single day.
Right.
So that's kind of the whole purpose of, you know, what I preach when I work with people, and when people ask me like, yo, are you in an econ, bro? Like, this is my answer. You know, don't ask me like, yo, do you do this? Do you do that? Like, what I'm doing is focusing on building my own portfolio, my own empire. I have a company, I have a label, I have a collective, I have music out, I have, you know, a sick high school, you know, career. I have a university career that I ended in the way that I wanted to end. I didn't just drop out. I didn't just leave my classes, fail my class. I didn't do that. I took the real decision. I lived up in the moment. I was like, what the fuck do I need to do right now to become a better person? I realized, okay, take a leave of absence. Right? Leave and stick to your words, stick to what you've been preaching for the last 2 years, and actually get it. And I did.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's when you actually man up to what you want to do and you just do it and you really understand and you grasp like, yo, I'm holding this right now. I'm writing this essay right now. I'm doing this, I'm creating this product, I'm launching this ad. Like, be aware in the moment. Like, don't just do shit mindlessly for money. Right. You know what I mean?
I think that's a huge part, man. I know you went on a big grant, which I thought was awesome, man. I'm definitely gonna clip that and save that. You know what I mean? That was a real. I'm gonna say, like, for someone your age to have that kind of thinking is.
I'm only 21, bro.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
Take it from me. I'm only 21. I've generated over 7 figures in my lifetime, like more than anybody in my family has at this age, right? Like, I'm not here to brag about it. I'm just telling you, I didn't do it chasing money. Right. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are like,
no, I tell people that, man. People think that I'm joking because I, like, you know, like all the art I bought yesterday was all money related. But I'm like, I'm gonna be honest, like, not really money motivated, man. Like, I think, like,
it's a personal thing. Like, when you look at yourself, oh, you got money, huh?
Yeah,
you got money, huh? Like,
and that's a reality of life, bro. Like, you need money for everything you do. You know what I mean? This mic we were recording this on costs money. This laptop costs money. Everything, it costs money. So you can't be delusional enough to not realize the importance.
Big shock to a lot of teenagers that come into the adult world. It's like, man, I gotta pay for everything. It's like, literally, the breath you take, you gotta pay for it.
So
like,
we're not saying don't put importance on money. We're saying, listen, understand the importance of money, but detach yourself from money when it comes to pursuing something. Because I've been there when I was chasing money. I'm not sure, but you've probably been there when you're chasing money. That's when money's just running farther away from you, man. I feel like, and that's also, like you said, it goes against what you said. It's a very short-term zero-sum game where if the money does come fast, it will go out just as fast. Just as fast. It'll go out just as fast. And I think that's why I like that you talked about, you know, and kind of touching into, you know, what you do. And this next question that I'm curious about, I know a lot of people are as well, is your transition from business to business. You know, how do you decide, okay, when I'm going to focus my energy from this to that?
I love that question because it's so simple to answer. When your first business is automated, move on to the next one. Right. It's very simple. Don't waste your time trying to find new ideas. I get it. Sometimes, you know, it's like the new ideas coming. Okay, automate your business faster. If you can't automate certain things with your business, eliminate it. Reduce the revenue in your first business, fully automate that one, and hop on to the next one. You know, like, you have to always think of it as like
opportunity cost of it, bro.
Yin and yang. Exactly. Opportunity cost. Like, you have to give some things to be able to move on to next. So if you're thinking of transitioning, hey, I do this and I want to transition into something else, it's like, okay, how good is the first thing doing for you? Is it paying your bills? If yes is the answer to to that question, move on to the next business, right? If it pays your bills, if it's doing well and you can fully automate it, move on to the next one. If it doesn't pay your bills, there is no reason for you to move on to something else.
Right.
If you've been dedicating time to something that has been growing, right, has been working. Obviously, I'm talking from a successful standpoint.
Yeah, I don't want to give people the excuse for that to be like, oh, you know, because you know the people that
There's a lot
shining.
of times where your first business is going to shit. Then, yes, you can transition to the next business. But I'm talking about if you have a business right now, say, Splash, you have a marketing business, right, that generates over 6 figures a month. Why would you go and transition into something else if this is your full-time job? Why would you compromise this if it's not fully automated? If you can't sleep for 1 week straight and wake up and you still have money, no refunds, nobody's complaining, your company is increasing in growth. That's what it means when it's automated. A lot of people think that, oh, somebody's just doing a job for me. They could be doing it like shit. They could be, automation is not.
And we've learned that the hard way about, just like the difference between automation or having someone else do it. Because I think people don't understand the power of.
It's not synonymous at all.
Oh yeah, and people got to understand it's like, hey, don't just automate it. This is a whole ass process that takes a while, right? And that is why, like, you got to really be careful when you do automate your business. But not only that, like when you do want to transition as well.
It's business, bro. It's not. Business. This isn't something that you're gonna get taught in school. Obviously, there is business management, but they don't really teach you how. Like I wish there was more online business courses, because online there is the payment processing side of it that's completely fucked up, bro. People could study it for 4 years and still not get it. How to make sure that you're earning money online and that's coming in, you're reducing conversion rates,
part,
you're reducing losses.
It's a fucking middleman that's fucking everything up.
It's a bunch of middlemen.
It's a bunch of middlemen.
Like there's probably 6 middlemen between you getting your payment from Stripe to your bank account.
Oh, 100%.
And you don't even know it. And that's why the fees are so high. It's like, how come they're taking 3% of my payment? Bro?
Man,
like,
and at large amounts, like, man. That's
more than taxes in some countries, bro. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it just doesn't make sense at some points when you look at it from an outsider perspective. But when you completely understand how to maximize different things, you really can't complain and say I'm a victim, because being in a society like this where you're allowed to open up a business, when you're allowed to go and incorporate for literally less than $500, you're allowed literally less than $200 incorporation. Yeah,
it didn't even cost you that much to incorporate.
Like
man.
It was like something that was super easy for me to grasp, and once I started learning it, it got so much more bigger. Like it was so hard for me to even learn how to incorporate a company, but once I learned how to do that, I figured out how to open a business bank account. I figured out how to open a lot of different things that involved with business, but I didn't even know they existed. I didn't even know I could even do that. Oh, a bank account for a business? Is that even a thing? I thought bank accounts was only for people. You know what I mean? So there's different things that you got to take that first step to find out, oh, there's more questions I got to ask. But the answers to these questions are easier than the one I really had to figure out, right? Which is, how do I incorporate? What is it like being a business owner? You know what I mean? What am I going to sell? That kind of stuff, like once you figure it out, then you get more things. It's like a tree. I love to compare everything in life to a tree, because it really starts from one thing, the stems. I'm not going to count the roots. I'm just calling it the stem. And then it branches out, becomes branches. It flowers. Or you can even go
down, bro, the trunk and then the roots.
You could look at it from either direction. Right. It's just the idea of one thing leading to millions of other things that you could have never even seen. Yeah, right. You could have never even imagined or...
That's the huge thing I came into realization lately, is that how naive us young people can be, because we make decisions and beliefs based on what we know, but we don't know shit yet. Like, if we are being realistic when it comes to the bigger picture of life, of course not saying we don't know shit, but there's still so much more we have to learn, right? Like you said, the branch, I feel like we might just be, if we're just 20, man, we're just not even like midway there. Okay. You know what I mean? So the branch is just getting, like in your analogy, it's just expanding. And I make that point to let, young entrepreneurs know, and I told this to my course group chat, and I kind of want you to touch on this as well. A lot of people I've been seeing is people get their initial success, 1-2 clients, couple of dollars, and then they stop learning. They stop doing the same things that they did when they were not successful. You know, they were hungry, they were asking questions, they were learning.
That's exactly what we just talked about, is because they want to move on to the next thing.
Right.
It's like, and this is literally how it is. Like, anybody that tells you, yo, I'm not like, I did well at the start, but I'm not performing. It's like, have you been repeating exactly what you were doing? It's like, no, I try to change. Why have you tried to change?
Why change something that's not broken
if it's not consistent, right? If you don't feel confident that something is consistent, you shouldn't move on to the next step. You should be trying to make things stay at the same level. So, for example, say you have a podcast, right? You gotta be able to hit independently a certain number of streams on each episode before you call yourself, you know, a certain, like, a podcast god, or you're like,
right.
Yo, I have a podcast that's blowing up. Like, hit a certain number, right? And then start marketing your stuff. Hit like a certain part of, you know, as a freelancer, as somebody who has clients, hit a certain number of clients, and then say, hey, we should build a website. Hey, we should partner. Not you get your first client, you're like, you know what, I gotta go partner. I'm gonna go get a deal now. I'm gonna incorporate. Like, you have to reach a certain spot where you feel comfortable, right? That you're not going to procrastinate moving on to the next thing. A lot of people, they procrastinate. They're like, I'm not learning anything because I really don't know where to look, bro. Like, I don't know who to ask where to look. And then it's like, you just go backwards. And then it's like, it's completely backwards mentality that will just take you farther than when you even started. You know what I mean? It's
That's
like,
a big thing, yeah.
It's possible, bro. It's possible for somebody to start doing well and then, like, they just get so
possible, man. I feel like that's like a majority of people, because you know what? I saw this with myself too when I first started drop shipping, was that I remember I made some money and then I stopped doing that, literally learning, stopped, you know, going on YouTube, stopped watching courses, and then 2 months later had to shut down my whole business or shut down my store. You know what I mean? And I think people need to, and you know what, and it's crazy because whatever, I feel like every point we touch on goes back to your main point, which is the long term. You know, if you are really thinking about the long term, you're consistently improving. We know a guy who's been trading for 8 years, consistently makes money consistently. Every day he's still learning.
No matter what the stock market looks like.
Yesterday's shit was down, bro. He said the whole market was down since March. Yeah, homie made 10 grand in a small account probably, you know?
Shout out David.
Shout out David Kang, bro. He was on the podcast episode 5. Check that out.
He's the consistency, like, that is one big thing, is like, it's easy to stay consistent when you look at having a business and owning a business as like a child. Right? A child, realistically, you can't just stay at home and take care of the baby child at all times. That's not realistic, right? You're not the mommy. Mm-hmm. You're the businessman. You're the man of the house. You can't stay at the house and care for the baby at all times. I'm not saying anybody that does that is doing it wrong, but I mean, if you're caking and you're just chilling at home, you know, making cash, like, that's fine. But I'm saying, like, somebody who needs to go out and do things, you know, still learn and grow as a person. Having a business is exactly like having a baby. You need to put it to rest at some points. You can't be 24/7 obsessed with that shit. I get it. It's making money. But you have to build it in a way that you're not a slave to your business. Your business is working to you, right? And a lot of motherfuckers, they blow up and they do these businesses, but they end up 24/7 working on that shit. For example, me, right?
When I first met you, that was you.
I literally was working 24/7. I had gained so much weight. I literally felt like I was so aggressive towards people. Like, people was hitting me up, telling me, yo, we have to do these things. And I felt like I never had the time. And I was always busy. But being busy is not a good thing, right? You want to be as least as busy as you can to be able to navigate life easily with no stress, without losing hair, with just being a genuine person, being a real person, without needing to be fake to impress people. Like, keeping it fucking real. To be able to keep it real, you have to really be able to evolve and be able to grow from the position.
I think be in control of your life, and that is your business too. And I think, you know, what I always tell people is the last thing you want to do is escape the 9-to-5 rat race just to create it in your own life.
Another one. Exactly. Yeah,
because a lot of people, they think they're entrepreneurs, but they're actually just like, I wouldn't, you know what, if someone's making 10 times more money than me, but they work way more than I do right now, I don't want to trade my life with them, bro. And I think you can agree as well, because we both know the value of time and the value of, okay, you know, once this is automated, if I can allocate this time to this interest, I'm making double the money versus if I'm just only, you know, if I'm working, like imagine me writing emails still 3 years now, still writing emails every day.
But why would you work? It's because you're dependent on that piece of work to make you money.
Right.
When you create dependency, when you leave a 9-to-5, super dependent job, super dependent career, like just like mommy and daddy, you know, like mommy and daddy giving you a budget, your company's paying you your salary, whatever. Why would you create that dependency? You leave that, you preach, you listen to all these people that preach independency and independent work and doing everything independent, and then you go and put yourself, you're dependent to PayPal, you're dependent to this payment processor, you're dependent to this program because it's making you money, you're dependent, like, you see, this is why people fall off. It's because they come up as entrepreneurs, but they're dependent on everything. Today, I'm not dependent on shit.
Right.
My business, it's surprising because I'm one of the only few people that really has a business that isn't dependent on shit. Like, the only thing I'm dependent on is the internet. Like, if the Wi-Fi cuts off, I'm fucked. But what are the chances of that? Nah. So I'm way better off than, for example, if you're dependent on PayPal, you make all your income off PayPal, and PayPal shuts down your account just because they felt like it, which happens.
Which happens a lot.
And it happened to me and literally everybody that I know, right? Once you reach a certain point, you have a lot of money in PayPal. There you go. There's a hole. There's a limit. What do? Are you going to fucking cry about it? There's literally nothing you can do about it. You can threaten to sue them, right? You're going to be a little bitch to them because they're literally not going to pay attention to you. You're going to have to call their phone line that doesn't even exist. And it's like, because you were dependent on it, because you started out as a dependent and you thought you were hard. That's the thing, bro. Payment processors, that's one dependency, right? The clientele, like, are you getting all your clients from ads?
Talk about this mentor. That's a big one. Yeah. People relying too much on one other person. People
relying on someone else's words and moves. Like, how could you really how could you really call yourself an entrepreneur if you're if most of the moves that you make are dependent on someone else? Like, do you have your own application? Do you have your own back-end database? Do you have your own developers? Do you have your own manufacturer for your products? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of drop shippers, they run into issues with stock because their supplier says, you know what? Fuck it. No stock. Like, why? Because they made their money. They don't need to fucking
You're not a business. At that point, you're not a business owner. They don't believe you can
sell more. Yeah, you're not a business.
You're a middleman in a middleman game.
Exactly. To become a really successful business owner, you have to be independent. Like, if you own a tiling business, have your own tile manufacturer, have your own car. Don't be Ubering. Like, don't be taking the fucking TTC if you're going to lay down tiles at someone else's home. Don't be taking.
This is a really good point, bro. And I know you're giving like business examples, but this is a life thing, man. Don't depend on anything or anybody.
Look, dependency is cool. I fuck with it. Because a lot of people can really help you if you're dependent on them. Like, a lot of people are meant to depend on other people. Like, I have a lot of people that depend on me. That's normal. I fuck with these people. I love them. You don't look down on them. Of course, bro. I fucking love them. I look up to them, bro. Like, people who are dependent on me. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you're dependent on my service or you're dependent on what I provide, I feel valuable, right? Everybody in life should be feeling valuable. Everybody should have people that depend on them for something. You know what I mean?
Right.
If you're just depending on a lot of shit, bro, like, and that's all you do as an entrepreneur, you're just depending on payment process. You're depending on your stock. You're depending on, you're just like, how can you really call yourself independent? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, right? It's like, oh, if this shut down, what are you gonna do? Fuck. If this shut down, what are you gonna do? If this stopped producing, what are you gonna do? And if you find a lot of fucking problems like that, you need to realize, I'm not in a stable position. Don't be freaking out. Because a lot of people are in that position. 99% of entrepreneurs are in that position. Don't be freaking out about it. Like, you just got to realize that
notice the problems and work towards the solutions is what I
There's a lot of other things that you can either get involved in or you can find somebody that can like a real mentor, someone who can give you business advice, like a tax consultant. If your taxes are fucked and you're dependent on a country that, you know, is gonna fuck you over, and you're really dependent on your tax system, and you think it's gonna bless you, and you really don't know what the fuck's going on, get a tax consultant. If you're dependent on your stock, find someone who can manufacture this shit for you locally. I don't care if you're paying $1 extra, $2 extra. Find out other solutions. See, is it viable or not? How much more is it gonna cost me? If it gets rid of that dependency, it's worth it. Opportunity cost. Really, you have to look at it differently, bro, because once you look at life like that, you can never really take an L. If you take an L, you're like, all right, detour, hold up, let me take a U-turn.
Right, no, that's a huge thing,
it's like GPS. Can you really not get to any fucking location in the world? You can really put yourself anywhere in the world. There's just different ways to get there. And there's ultimately infinite different ways to get there. It's just the same mentality, bro. Like,
I really like that, man. I want to touch on, you know, you said mentality. For you, someone who's making, you know, enough money to live the life they want, with, you know, do what they want comfortably.
God for that,
yeah, you know, of course, blessings, grateful for that. What, to this day, you know, first of all, two questions to this. One part is, are there times where you feel very complacent when you're making money and, you know, everything is going well and you don't really want to work? And the second part is, during those times, if you do get complacent, what is the things that breaks you out of it? Which is, you know, what is that thing that makes you look at the bigger?
It's funny that you say that, because I have like complacent on my fucking schedule. Like, be complacent.
Right.
Be mindful, be thankful. Like, I have that shit as a time slot on my fucking. So the thing that breaks me out is the fact that I have it in the schedule, that I know that this time is only temporary, right? It's not like I just got paid $15,000 and instantly I go into this complacent mood that I'm just sitting down and I'm like, I'm chilling, I'm happy, I'm satisfied. Like, that's fine. That's normal. Any human being does that shit. But the way I kind of get rid of it is I just see it as a time slot on my schedule. Like, yo, I can be grateful for fucking 6 hours if I want now. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of like, I make my schedule as I go, and I always look at my day as a schedule, which is what really helps me as well. Like, it's, yo, I can be grateful for the next 6 hours and do absolutely nothing. And I will end up working in that time. I will end up doing things like getting up, eating, whatever. But I just see it as do nothing. You set the benchmark, or, you know, the guidelines for what you're gonna do in that time slot is nothing. And that's how you kind of break out of it. It's like, yo, I've literally been doing nothing for 6 hours. I don't care if you was working, like, it counts as nothing. You know what I mean? Because that's how you gotta look at it. It's like, yo, I'm being complacent, I'm being satisfied with what I did. Like, when you're feeling that emotion, as soon as you snap out of it, you're back into work mode. And it's easier to snap out of it if you have it on a schedule. Your timer goes off and you're like, yo, stop fucking around. Like, it's time to work. Do this. You know, I know the next thing that I'm gonna do, so it's easy for me to move on to the next thing. It's not like I gotta figure out, I just got a bag, what I got to do tomorrow to get another bag.
So let me switch up the question then. So what is the thing that makes you want to even, you know, push those next numbers? You think it's just like natural instinct of, okay so just progressing, or is there a bigger picture? Is there a bigger picture for you?
The reason I don't get comfortable with sales numbers, like, obviously for me as a person, once if I see the month-to-month sales go down, like if it's just 1 month, like, to me that's like heartbreaking. So it's like almost the opposite effect of what you're asking. Like, when the sales go down, like, I get cheese, bro. I get mad because it's like, shit, like, week over week was popping, but then like the actual month over month, why is it lower? What happened? You know, did we lose subscribers? So because my business is automated, those are the types of evaluations that I do, the type of work that I do. Right. I don't, you know what I mean? And this is kind of where I look at it, and where emotion really can't come into play. Because when I'm going up, sales are 200% month over month, I don't care. That's normal to me. That's what I want to see. But when they're going down, say week over week or month over month, we've never had a sales go down month over month, except for the month of Corona, which was understandable because ads weren't performing as well. I was able to find out exactly why it was happening. It wasn't, you know, consumers weren't coming back. The lifetime value of our customers was actually going up. You know, we were getting less revenue from ads and more revenue. So we were still growing in some aspects, but there was some things that I couldn't control. So I understood the situation and I moved on to the next month and we boomed the month after that. You know what I mean? So understanding your business growth, understanding what targets you want to hit, it makes you less complacent. Because you realize, like, yo, I'm just hitting a target. Like, it's not a dream. It's not something that I never imagined before. Obviously, if something super overwhelming happens, you have the right to be complacent. You have the right to be so overwhelmed that you don't do shit for a week or 2 weeks or 3 months. You have the right to do that, especially if you're young, bro. Like, if you're not, you know, if this is the first time you've done this shit, take your time. There's no rush on it. Obviously, little reminder, there's millions of other people doing and working the exact same way you are, so you can relax as long as you want. You feel me? Just keep that in the back of your head. Like, there's a lot of other people working. So it really comes down to it, bro. Like, you know, you can self-discipline yourself and be on a race with yourself and really compete with yourself, or you can constantly remind yourself that, you know, there's other motherfuckers working. Like,
whatever keeps you going, you know, whatever that motivates you. A question that I ask everybody on the podcast as well, because I genuinely am curious for everybody's point of view on this, you know, is how do you view money and how has it changed since you started making money to where you at now? You know, from when you started to where you at now, has the viewpoint of money even changed? Or, you know, what has changed? Or right now, how do you view money compared to, you know, how other people might view it?
So there's different state of minds that I'm in that will allow me to view money a certain way.
Right.
I never view money the same way. Like, it really depends on the situation.
So situational.
So in general, like, if I'm just walking on the street, if I'm just linking up with my friends, like, knowing that I have the same amount of money, right, as my peers and the people around me, that makes me comfortable. I know that I'm in a good circle, and I know that there's people around me that have more money than me. So I know I'm in a good place. That's how I look at money with my peers, right? When I look at money in terms of my dependents and my loved ones, having a lot of money, it makes it so much easier to interact with the people that I love and the people that depend on me. It makes it so much easier. It makes it so much easier because I can almost fulfill what they want, bro. It's like I'm a God-given gift to them. You know, like, that's literally, bro, like, people see you as that. So it's like I see money for my loved ones and my dependents that way. Money for myself, when I got cash, bro, when I get a bag, like, for myself, I get so fucking happy. Like, on the inside, it's like, holy shit. Like, I really worked my ass off, the same amount of work that I was working my ass off at a 9-to-5 job or at school, and I made a fucking bag, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It shows you that money really isn't shit.
Right.
Like, it's so easy to make it as you. Like, as myself, I'm like, yo, I really can earn this shit as nothing because I have the skills. So that's when I take a step back and I'm like, okay, I was given a blessing. Take another step back. I gotta help people find a blessing like this. I gotta help all the people that are able to channel this blessing that was given to everybody. If they're able to really channel it, I would love to add them to my circle of friends. And that's kind of what I've been doing. Is it's trifecta, bro. The way I look at money for myself, the way I see it for my peers is like, am I surrounding myself with motherfuckers that are constantly successful? If I'm successful and I don't have enough people successful around me, I'll make successful people around me and keep them around me. You feel me? That's exactly what I'm doing right now. Like, it's a lot of people that I'm putting on because I want them to be my friends. Like, I generally realize, like, the people that you put on and you help and you do venture are the friends, bro, are the people that will become your friends. Obviously, some of them will fuck you over, but that you should have noticed that a long time ago. You should have noticed that in a person a long time ago if they're slimy or whatever, you know? Like, they're not keeping it real, like, you can tell right away.
And it's a different feeling when you actually, you know, help someone you know do something. Like, I feel like a lot of my personal friends now that they do email marketing, now I'm actually seeing it in person. And it's like, I feel like I've been more serious about my education business, what I've been able to do in my long-term goals ever since seeing it in person. You get what I mean? It's like, I also realize what you touched on is, one time I was so focused on, let me go to LA to meet Bjorn. Not even LA, but like that's an example.
Yeah, I know. Go to the city to meet my peers.
Go to city to meet other people. But I realized,
do cool shit for Instagram.
Yeah, but why don't you just do that with your, why don't you just develop your circle so it's just sick here, so you don't have to go. So again, dependence. You're not dependent on another city.
It's sick in your circle. Being in your circle is sick. Like,
oh, dude, like the thing is, and that also I think makes you not needy, bro. I don't care anyone that leaves my life or wants to enter my life because my circle already is cool. You know what I mean? I got people like you. I got people like David. Just cool ass people.
And your circle has to have the same standards, bro. Our circle, like David, Fez, you, me. Like, even Hamas, bro. Motherfuckers overseas.
Shout out Hamas. Shout out all the guys you just named.
Shout out all these people, bro. Isaiah, like John. Like, I know so many people that I can name off the top of my head. Like, even artists that, like, bro, this kid Vabo, bro. There's this one artist that's deeply involved in the music industry, and like he makes his full-time income off his businesses, bro. Like he was the only artist that I've ever met that is doing that, and super low-key, doesn't have a YouTube channel, doesn't tell people. Like, you don't need to have so many people around you to be successful, to be someone who has an impact. Like, and that's kind of what money brings. Like, money, when somebody has it, when somebody's like actually wealthy, you can tell. You can tell by the way they talk. You can tell. And by
it's not by the show. It's about. I feel like
you can just tell.
It's
like,
actions. It's little actions.
You can tell, right? And I'm saying you can tell. Splash. We both have cash. We both have wealth, so we can tell. But a lot of other people that don't have, the necessary means to realize that, or haven't been around, a lot of money or a big sum of whatever, they can't really tell. So for me, I don't wear jewelry. I wear designer shit sometimes, like Gucci flops or whatever. I wear my artist merch. I wear, that's kind of what I wear. I wear sweats. I wear shorts. I wear jeans. Like, I don't wear.
In public, you wouldn't be
I don't wear shit. Yeah, I don't wear shit that's like, oh my God, he's a millionaire. He's a rich boy.
Look at
like,
the drip.
Oh my God, Graham Stephan. Like, yo, shout out Graham Stephan. But I don't do that in front of people to show them that I have wealth. So people who have wealth, they move different, bro.
Right. It's the actions, not even the
real
words.
wealth. I'm talking about real wealth. I'm talking about, I'm supporting my family and I can go turn up in the club. My family is so well off for the next couple years that I can go and ball out, go take a private jet to Bali, go do this in Bahamas, go do this in Bora Bora. But you got to be a certain type of person to really move like that, to be able to get into that position. Now, everything that I said, bro, like, I couldn't have told you that 2 years ago because I wasn't this person.
Oh, 100%.
Like, you can listen to interviews that I did 2 years ago. I was focused on the wrong things. I couldn't be able to even give you these kind of words because I hadn't experienced it yet. So,
bro, you can tell just like this, bro. Yeah, a lot. You can just tell.
This is what I fuck with. This is what I fuck with, bro. Like, when people listen to this shit, it's like instantly you're put into my world, which I don't let a lot of people into.
Right.
And you don't really get to see how my brain works because it's what makes me successful, bro. It's what makes me successful. I promise. Like, it's really your mindset. It's not about what you do. It's not about what your business is, bro. Like, I've met a lot of people with the same mindset as me and they're way ahead of me. And it's like, that's what it takes to really keep going. It's the mindset, right? I can go and ball up. I can go and turn up in the club and get sauced. I can do all these things and like, I will still be myself. I will still understand that I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I still have a schedule. I still have to do shit. A lot of people, they don't know what they're going to do when they wake up tomorrow. They're just in a place and they're like, oh my God, it's so cool. They sleep and they wake up. It's like, oh my God, I'm still here. It's so cool. And then they sleep and then they wake up and it's like, I'm not there anymore. Like, what am I doing now? Like,
that's so wild.
You know what I mean?
That's
like,
deep, bro. No, and I think that's a big thing that you talked about is the importance of mindset. That's what I learned. And even like when we first met, bro, I remember like telling you like I really super fuck with you is because you made me think bigger. And that usually doesn't happen.
Thank you, bro. No, I try to do that with everybody that comes across
no lie,
me.
man. Every time around Jvnior, it's like, raising the standards, raising what I believe is possible and really was true. And then like back to what he said, it's not, and it was, and I could tell, like, back to what you said about, like, you can tell someone is wealthy or someone has money by the way they act, right? And I think it's like a good example is you. Some people that might have not known you before the podcast know that you are somebody just because of the way you talk, just how you started the podcast, how you spoke, And I think that was a really good point. And also, guys,
I'm on this podcast, like, I gotta be somebody. You feel me? Like,
yeah,
you don't got no randoms on this podcast, bro. Everybody that's been on this podcast is a real nigga. They're keeping it real. You feel me? That's how we do it. That's how we do it in Toronto. That's how we do it in the Middle East. That's how we do it in Africa. That's how we do it in Asia. That's how we do it all around the world. We keep it real.
We keep it real, man. That's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Before we even end this podcast, bro, like, I feel like you give so much amazing value, you know what I mean? And I think...
we'll have another episode. So
oh, no, trust me, man.
Part two's coming.
This is one of many, and I think the next one we're actually going to... You know what? One of the day when Anthony, my content manager, is here, we'll pull up to your condo and film a nice one with the background.
I want to film it with my artist.
Oh, word, yeah.
To give you some prospect to how the manager and artist relationship works.
I like that.
I was able to, transition from an artist to a manager, because I feel like there's still a lot of sauce, bro. There's still a lot of sauce.
I mean, before we quickly end, I mean, I feel like I genuinely want to ask you some questions about the music industry stuff.
Of course, let's get into it. This is why people are still listening to this second. If you're still listening, you a real nigga. You keeping it real. That's why you listen to this.
100%, bro. 100%. So my question, right? And this is someone from the outside who knows nothing, right? Like knows a little bit 1-2, but doesn't even know how it works. Like like in the e-com world, the marketing world, I know how certain shit works. So I know stuff, right? But when it comes to music industry, for me, what I've noticed is a lot of artists always talk about them hating on the label, saying, fuck you, fuck this label, I'm independent. But why is a lot of artists' relationship with their labels so bad?
Ego.
Explain.
Ego. Let me tell you why. A lot of the artists that I come across, right, it's so hard to have conversations with them. And I'm not saying they're stupid. I'm not saying...
You think they already made it?
Yes. And it's like... You're sitting in front of somebody that has a lot of cash. They can literally give you an advance that the label will give you. Like me, for example. I'm able to give an artist a $50,000 advance if they fucking want it. If they deserve it, hell yeah. If I see an artist come across me like Lil Baby before he made it, better know he's getting a fucking Rolex tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, If I really vibe out with him, like, that's kind of how the music industry works. You have to be a dope person. You have to be talented. Like, I don't care who the fuck you are. Like, I'm not saying talented like singing. If you're able to make music, whether you're a producer, you're able to go on the program and create beats out of loops or whatever, or you're able to create loops for other producers, or you're able to put down your vocals and have an engineer already and you have your studio set up, that's what gets you signed. It's not having dope music. You could have made that music at a studio that you paid all your life savings on. You can't replicate that. Again, it comes down to repetition. With labels, they want you to be able to do stuff. That's why they sign you. That's why they go and partner with individuals like me more than they sign artists. They do joint ventures with people and bring in labels because they see these people as able people. The label is just there as an aggregator. They don't want to be a fucking factory house for artists to blow up. Like, managers get signed to labels, not artists.
Right.
Like, I'm signed to label through my manager's joint venture as an artist, which I still haven't ended the contract. But it's kind of like, it gives you insight to how the industry works. When artists say, I don't fuck with the label, ego. You're not even at the label's level. Like, what do you mean I don't fuck with this label? It's your manager. It's your manager. It's the management. It's not, at the end of the day, bro, like, if your label is your manager, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. If your label is your sole supplier of money, you're doing it wrong. You know what I mean? Like, as an artist, you can't just be an artist and only be able to provide vocals. That doesn't, like, references for other artists. Like, you're not even an artist at this point. You're a songwriter. That's more beneficial than being an artist. Like, an artist, really having an artist that doesn't have a social media, that doesn't have the social clout. They're not putting in effort to blow up viral on YouTube, on Instagram. They're not putting in that effort to become an influencer. You're not an artist. You're not. You're really not. You're a songwriter. You're a reference writer. You're somebody who can make money through a lot of different ways. Your maximum potential does not belong as an artist. Like, you know what I mean? And like,
right.
That's not to knock out anybody that has less than 10,000 followers and is an artist, but you shouldn't be focusing on making music. You should be focusing on building your assets to become an artist. It's like, I want to become a doctor, but you know what? I'm just gonna hold a fucking syringe and a bunch of tools and go on the street. I don't even have the right location. I'm just gonna go to my friend's house. I'm gonna call myself a doctor. I'm gonna start posting, and people have to believe me. I have to get clients. I have to get people to do surgeries with me. Nah, you gotta have the shit. You gotta have the school. You gotta have the foundation. You gotta have the professors vouching for you. You gotta have the work experience. As an artist, you have to have all that shit. An Instagram account, a YouTube channel, a Twitter channel. The ability to fucking make shit go viral, like having collabs lined up, having stuff that the label will see as profit making. That's how you build with a label. You're a business partner making money with them. That's how you have to see it. When you work with a label, like if you're just an artist doing it for art, find a dope manager that can get you exposure. Find a dope publishing company that will take your percentage. Like find that shit. Like I'm doing that. You know, if you have dope music, come to me, DM me. I'm doing that.
We'll put his links below, guys. Go DM. You know what I mean?
Like,
So
like that's kind of what I'm saying. Like if you're an artist listening to this, like start an e-com business. If you have 100K in cash as an artist, look at Anders. Anders is one of the best examples of this in the city because I really
I actually
respect
don't know
this
what
kid.
do you do?
Anders makes music, right? Makes super like radio music, super dope, like auto-tune stuff. And he sounds like a lot of people, but the reason he made it is because he had a lot of money and he was investing in good music videos. He was investing in promotions. He was investing into label meetings and paying A&Rs to get him into meetings.
If we look at it through the business, what we just talked about, the long-term vision, bro, just setting it up for the long-term vision, you know?
It's really what it is, bro. It's like you got to understand what it takes to make an industry, having cash, having the assets, having the resource, having the connections, and using your time as a human being on this earth, building that. If your city doesn't have connections, spend all of your time online. That's what I did. Until you can move out of the city. Make money online, spend all your time online. Don't go outside. If nobody in your city's worth
you can meet some dope people online, bro. That's how we met. We met on some Instagram shit. You know what I mean? I think people, and you know what? You know what's crazy is that is normal now. Like some of my closest friends, some of the people that make me the most amount of money, we've met through Instagram. So don't use your location as an excuse either.
So if you live in like Silicon Valley or you live in LA or New York, like there's a lot of individuals around you, bro.
All right.
Like if you live in Toronto, there's a lot of individuals around you. But like
a lot.
You know, like Instagram will help you find those people, but it's better to always meet people from the industry. Like, refer me to somebody who can do this. Know who you want to meet. Know the people, what they already do before you even meet them. That's how you meet genuine connections. That's how you meet success.
I really like the advice, bro.
Yeah, it's like get to know them before they even introduce themselves to you.
Yeah.
Like
the best way to conclude this is like, listen, instead of going through it blindly, know what you're gonna do. Do this shit long term. Honestly, Junior, this was one of the best podcasts we ever recorded because I feel like, man, you guys, like anything he said today, I would tell you guys to re-listen and take notes on the main points because those are some, like whatever he said today, those have been some of the biggest, like those type of thinking have been some of the biggest, like changing like moments in my life is, the part when we talked about.
Because this is shit, like this is dope.
We go through this shit.
We're going through this shit right now. Like I'm at an age where I'm going to thank myself for doing this podcast because I'm able to get what's in my brain this year. Like next year, my whole mentality could be different.
Oh, the podcast is going to be completely different next year when we record,
I'm going to be giving different advice, but in terms of somebody who just started an e-com business, just blew up, just building everything out and just seeing success, like that's me, right? And for me, it's like, bro, I don't see this as success, bro. A lot of people will see this.
That's
as
what I mean. That's when you like blew my mind, bro. That's when you raised my standards that day. Remember the first time
it's a joke. I wake up now. I literally have nothing to do. Like obviously, I'm building my collective, my label, and like I'm focusing on a bunch of other shit. But because all my businesses are automated now, and I'm like pretty much in that phase where I'm looking for another thing and building another thing. It's like, bro, life is boring. Even when you have a lot of money, like even when you have a lot of money, you take that in after quarantine. Like if you're really not working and just working for fun and doing what you love doing, like not just for the money, just doing it for yourself. Spending time with your family, going out, building a family if you don't have one. I don't care. Get a fucking dog. Find a girl. Get her pregnant. Get 2 babies. Get to know her parents. That's your family now. There you go. You feel me? Like. You gotta maneuver life in ways that you're gonna be happy even if you don't have money. Because at the end of the day, like
100%,
money doesn't buy you respect, bro. People don't respect.
Oh hell no, man. There's a lot of people with money that I don't respect. You know what I mean? I genuinely don't respect them. And you know what? Let's just leave it at this. Man, I want to thank you so much.
This is so crazy because like nobody that I kind of knew, like, if people are really listening to this right now, like, you gotta understand that back in the day, all the influencers that I watched, all the people that I paid attention to, they never took the time to really give me their perspective on how they're becoming successful. It's almost you watch someone else's success unfold, and they don't give you any tips. They don't tell you how the fuck to get there, what mindset you need. It's just like, yo, I'm here, I'm in the camera, just consume my content, consume my shit, and that's
Look
it.
at my life, blah blah blah. Here,
Like, we're different, bro. Like, especially Splash, like, with everything that you've been doing, bro, I feel like sky's the limits for you, man.
Appreciate that, man. No, and you know, one thing you made me notice is, like, think about the long term. And you know what? Like, I don't even know if I've told Jvnior this, man. Me thinking in the long term, finally, I have, like, a project that I'm working on that is actually that is something I'm working on that will blow up in 40 years on some crazy shit. Like, it'll still make me millions now, but billions in the future. And I really, like, I truly mean it, bro. I remember back when we first linked up, it was, we're talking numbers, and you're telling me, hey, we're gonna be billionaires, like,
because we're business people, we know how to work numbers, and I'm able to say that. If you're somebody who is super creative, like, has art but doesn't know how to manage money, like, that's not your thing. Find someone that's their thing,
right?
Like, impress them. That's the next step you need to take. Like, everybody's different. We're a certain kind of people. If somebody
be true to
out
yourself,
there, like,
I think that's a huge thing.
If this resonates with you like 100%, then we're probably the same kind of person. If some things you're like, yo, I'm not really able to do that. I can't really relate. Like, I don't have.
And that's possible because not everybody's the same.
You're at a different phase. You have a different path. That it's really, bro. Not everybody's meant to own a business. Not everybody's meant to be in the music industry. Not everybody's meant to do emails. Like, some people don't even send out emails. We earn 6 figures off of sending out emails, bro. Like,
literally.
Like, some people don't even know how to send out an email. It's crazy. Like, everybody's on a different path. There's so many things in this world that you can, like, explore and do. It's like any video game, bro. You come on, you can choose different game modes. You can choose different items to wear. You can always choose your different. That's what life is, bro. Look at it. It's blessed. It's simple. Don't overthink it. Whatever situation you're in, it passes, bro. Like, we've all gone through bad shit. We're all gonna go through bad shit. You just have to realize, like, at the end of the day, there's a time limit. You feel me? There's a time limit. Literally. Everything will come to an end. Just live it out, bro. Enjoy it. Don't overthink it, and think long term. Your life is not gonna end tomorrow. Like, right. You know what I mean? If you're not sick, if you're able to get up and get a cup of water and sip that shit, you're blessed. All right.
I agree, bro. Awesome, man. I think that's a perfect place to end the podcast. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. I'm gonna put all of his links down below in the description. Go check him out on you. Go check him out on Instagram.
Check me out on YouTube too.
Hey. Awesome, guys.
I'll be on YouTube. So.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks, Jvnior, for
Splash.
Thanks, Jvnior, for coming on again. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye. That is it for this episode of Keeping It Real, everybody. And if you guys did enjoy this episode, I just ask for a small favor, and that is to share this with someone that you know would benefit from this podcast, as I really want to grow this community and this podcast through word of mouth. Right, from you guys sharing it or telling someone to mess with this podcast or listen to this podcast or posting us on Instagram. And by the way, guys, if you do post us on Instagram, please use the hashtag Keeping It Real and tag me at SplashmanPB, just so I can see it, just so I can, stay connected with the family and interact with some of you guys. But yeah, like I said, if you guys want to keep in touch with me, my Instagram is at SplashmanPB. If you guys want to check out my YouTube, where I drop amazing content and amazing value as well, just search my name, Parikshit Busnit, and my channel will appear. But anyways, guys, hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.